night descends with shadows deep. In blood heaven, no souls asleep. The blood moon rises in crimson light, casting its light upon the night. Winds howl through the hollow trees, a whispering chant carried on the breeze. Under the blood moon, in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Lanterns flicker, casting ghastly forms. In the cemetery something stirs and storms. The graves crack open, their secrets revealed. In Bloodhaven no fate is sealed. A chill creeps in through stone and bone, as spirits of the lost make their presence known. Under the blood moon, in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Through cobble streets, footsteps fade, ghostly hands reach from the grave. No mercy here in the blood moon's glow. Bloodhaven's light is all you'll know. Under the blood moon, in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Beneath the blood moon's gaze the shadows sway. In Bloodhaven's light the night will stay.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Inner Sleuths live stream. It's great to see you all here today. We got quite a bit to talk about. Not too much, but we got quite a bit to talk about here with this short Q&A on pressing questions that Mainframe just posted. I'm sure a lot of you have already skimmed over this, but let's sit down and have a chat about it so we can see what you all think about all of the ongoing development processes that's happening over at Mainframe for PAX Day. We got a bunch of people in chat so far. We got German Printing Nerd, we have Watson, we have Red, Moon, Ya, Athena. Great to see you all here today. We got Mojo, we got Crimson Beard, Raster, bunch of you guys here today. We got Nas. Hey Nas, how's it going, buddy? Hey, I caught the beginning of the show. You sure did. You are here just in time. About to roll my intro here, and then we're going to get into all of the stuff that's in this pressing questions Q&A. I'm not going to lie to you guys, just like I never will. I'm always going to be honest with you. There's a lot of hashtag soon TMs in here. A lot of things that are, hurry up and wait. We don't know yet. No ETA. It's going to be kind of frustrating for some people, but hey, we're here to talk about the good, the bad, the indifferent. We're here to criticize what needs criticizing. We're here to praise what needs being praised. So that's what we're going to do here today. But before we get into all that, huge shout out to all of my channel members. Thank you guys for all the continued support. You guys are the reason why I'm able to run the community, run all of the private servers, run the YouTube channel, and everything in between. Huge shout out to you guys. If you guys would like to support my work, please consider clicking that join button down below, become a channel member. You get all kinds of perks with it. We have merch coming out. We're going to be meeting up on the 30th at the Bristol Renaissance Fair for anybody who'd like to come out there. We have a section over on the Discord where we're chatting about that, but anyone who wants to, we're gonna have some little Blood Brothers giveaways and things like that. If you guys are looking for an awesome gaming community, look no further than the Cheeky Buggers United. We play all kinds of games together. We just like to have fun with friends, playing cool games, going on adventures, role-playing in any setting. Doesn't really matter the place or the time or anything like that. We go into space games like Star Citizen. We go back in time to medieval times, like in games like PAX Day. We do everything in between. If you guys would like to join our Discord, you can type !Discord in chat. You'll get a link over to the Cheeky Buggers United Community Discord server. If you guys are wanting to take it to the next level and become a verified member, you can go over to our website, www.cheekybugger.net. We take applications from anybody, and we basically have a little bit of a vetting process. We sit down and chat with you, we look over your application, and we make sure that we're not wasting your time and you're not wasting ours. It's a really great way to keep out trolls and bad faith actors and things like that. And I think because of it, it's been an awesome community. No small part to you guys, though. You guys are the reason why this place is so special. So thank you guys so much for hanging out every day and being the awesome people that you are. We just covered the end of the world for Ashes of Creation Alpha 2 Phase 2. That was yesterday. I streamed the entirety of the event, and man, was it a big event. It was a lot of fun. The devs were crazy, man. They were spawning apocalyptic monsters. We were fighting them off. It was a lot of fun. Phase 3 starts with a fresh wipe, starting on the 26th. You guys are not going to want to miss this. If the game even remotely looks good to you, check out my previous streams. Ask any questions over on the Discord. I'm going to be starting up a podcast, hopefully in the next couple days, talking about all the features we're going to be getting for Ashes of Creation. But I digress. Let's get into some PAX Day news here. How does that sound? Watson, one of us. Guys, I love doing these streams live because I get to interact with you. Sometimes we have to talk about hard things here on the channel. I don't shy away from talking about hard things. I'm independent for a reason. And that reason is so we can be honest about everything that we talk about here. Some people just want rainbows and butterflies, in which case I would say this is probably not the place for you. I'm not here to try and pump up anything or lie or hide anything like that. I'm here to be fair and honest and assess what the situation is on the ground for everything I do. I believe in honesty in all things, making sure that you're doing the right thing no matter what. Those are some of our core principles over at Cheeky Buggers United at the Order of the Blood Brothers. And that's how I portray it all here on the channel. I want to make sure that we're being honest. We're talking about these hard things because nothing comes from a place of malice here. Whenever we have to criticize something or we make little jokes like #SoonTM, it's because we want the process or the product to be better. We want the game to be better. I don't think anyone here really wants the game to be worse. We all want it to be better. So when we have to criticize something, it's because we want it to be better. I know that could be a hard thing for some people. So that's why I say, this may not be the place if you just want rainbows and butterflies. We're going to have to talk about some hard things here today. A lot of #SoonTMs. Let me go ahead and unpause Tangia. If you guys would like to interact with Tangia, you can type !Tangia. People will do Tangia Dungeons all the time. You can get into those for free if someone else starts it. You just have to have the Tangia page pulled up and then logged in at the top right corner, and you'll be able to hit Join Dungeon. You can get all kinds of little mini-game stuff as well as vouchers or tickets that can be redeemed for Tangias that can be played on the channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and unpause that, but if you guys want to interact with it, !Tangia. If you guys are thinking about getting into Ashes or a litany of other games, I have referral codes. You can find them on my channel. You can type !Ashes for the Ashes of Creation one. A lot of these referrals are big, like with Star Citizen and Ashes, but it's ultimately up to you. If you want to use someone else's referral code, be my guest. If you want to use mine, greatly appreciated, but I'm not here to try and sell you on anything. I don't want you to think that that's what this is about. If you're going to be doing it anyways, might as well get some credit for it, right? Well, it just says, I just want to know the correct amount of coffee grounds to water. All right, let's get into this, guys. So it's not a ton of information, but over on their Discord, over on the PAX Day official Discord, you can find this new short Q&A on pressing questions. They start off, as always, by saying, "Hello, Paxians. We'd like to take a moment to address some of the recurring questions and suggestions we've seen here and on other platforms. People have been talking. People have been talking on the CBU Discord. People have been talking on the official PAX Day Discord. People have been talking on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. There's kind of a buzz going on with where's the content, what's happening, where's the roadmap, where's the updates, where's our horses, where's anything that we've been talking about. They've been #SoonTM for a long time, so there's a lot of chatter going on right now. Vidril, how's it going? Welcome into the stream, buddy. Ange, great to see you. I hope you're all having a great day. So there's a lot of chatter going on. They say, first, we want to reassure you that we do read your feedback and take it into consideration. Just because changes aren't immediate or don't happen at all doesn't mean we've ignored your input. I mean, and that's true of anything, really. You don't have to. They don't have to take our opinions into consideration. They really don't have to. That's what I've been saying from the beginning. We're here to just chat about the process and the development of PAX Day here on PaxCast. It's ultimately, there's really nothing we can do about it. We can only offer suggestions. We've freely given our money to them, and we are freely here on our own free will to participate in the development process. It's their vision, it's their goals. We can just offer suggestions and things that we think might be good, but at the end of the day, they don't have to take any of it into consideration, right? Mojo, thank you, buddy, for the first out of 5 super chats towards our super chat goal. He says, keep it up, buddy. You know I will. I do with everything. We just keep on trucking, man. Just keep on moving, keep things rolling, and keep having fun. You got it, buddy. Thank you so much for the super chat. Fadril says, he so noted and acknowledged, Watson. I'll try to work on this weekend. Oh, let's see. Watson says, greetings, good Lord, of a yet to be completed castle. And there's a lot of that in PAX Day. And it got even worse with now some of the plots are actually being lifted. I don't know why. There seems to be a bug or something going on where it's deleting people's plots and parts of their builds are actually crumbling and or disappearing. This happened to one of our allied clans. Their front gate didn't have too many build pieces on it, but it did have some. And I think the plot cleanup script actually ran unintentionally and removed it for... Oh, it's from Ange. Normally Fadril does that one. That was from Ange. Thank you for the R2 Tangia. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, but it actually removed their front gate. Big problem, especially when the most things that we have to do in the game right now is build and hunt in dungeons. So some of those things do get addressed in this Q&A, but that has been an ongoing problem. Some great builds out there, though. Let's see, where are we here? Many of you bring valuable experience from playing PAX Day, and we appreciate the effort you put into pointing out issues and suggesting improvements. That said, sometimes what may look like a problem from your perspective are actually aligned with upcoming features or future plans. And that is true. We don't have the whole picture. We only have a small portion of the grand scheme of things. We only have what they're willing to share with us. We don't have all of the information. So sometimes things will get implemented, and this is true across all games. I mean, it happens with every single game in their development process when they're early on like this. Well, I guess PAX Day is about to release in the fall, but I digress. We don't have the full picture. So sometimes things will take place like, oh, this experience is way too hard, but you don't know about another feature that's going to be coming out. The easy way to solve that, Mainframe, is just communicate more. Let people know, hey, I know this looks bad right now for this feature, but just please bear with us. We're working on something. We got this in the works right here. This is going to help with that, and then you'll get the full picture. Transparency really just helps a lot with all of those issues. It kind of can squash things before they even become a problem, just with good communication. Good communication alone can solve a lot of these problems. We have a lot of people joining in the chat. We're pushing over 30 people watching live already here. So I just want to let you guys know, if you're new here, do not be shy. Hop in chat, ask questions, voice concerns. Do it in a place of good faith. Don't just be a troll or anything like that. That'll get you blocked real quick. We don't deal with trolls around here. But if you have something good faith to say, if it's a criticism or something like that, I'm willing to engage with every single comment that I see. That being said, I'm only one person. We got a lot to go over today. If I miss a message that you guys post, it's unintentional. I will read every single super chat. I do my best to get to every single channel member's messages. But I really try to read everyone's message. So if you're new here, please don't be shy. Hop in chat. Let us know what you think about PAX Day's development and the different topics. I'll ask you guys questions throughout the stream as well to talk about these different things. But Watson says, for Drill, you have until the end of the current verse to get it done so you can fully complete. Get it done so you can fully complete. You need for your greatest creation. Are you talking about his castle? Getting his castle done? Raster says, smash that like button, folks. I appreciate that, Raster. Thank you, buddy. Dragon King, great to see you, man. Does anyone know where to get gadfly larvae? Yeah, those are pretty hard to get. The drop rate for them is pretty low, and considering that some of the creatures are bugged, I think, that drop them, but they come from the infested animals. The infested fox, and the infested boars. Anything that's infested and stuff, those things have bugs. They all have larvae and all of that. That's where you get all of those different worms from. Crimson Beard says, do you have any concerns that Mainframe will give up or pull back at some point? I mean, obviously, yeah, I have that concern. I feel like they've already made a big pullback by laying off a third of their staff. That's not good, right? If you look at other development companies, they tend to expand. Sure, there are pullbacks at certain points, and maybe that's what this was. Maybe this pullback was just a, trimming of the fat, so to speak, or we didn't need these people anymore, so we're just trimming that off. Thank you for your service type deal. But yeah, I mean, I think everyone has that concern, especially with the rate at which the updates come out and their communication not being the greatest. I think that's a concern of a lot of people's, but I can only speak for myself and the people that I've spoken with, but I have spoken with a lot of people, and that is definitely a concern of theirs. Real Cat died. How's it going, man? Welcome in. Crazy that it takes months to fix a drop rate on one animal and too much resources used to fix it. Yikes. I would agree. Yeah, and I don't think you're alone in that sentiment there. Dragon King says, I just couldn't find infested animals. They are in dungeons. I do think there is something weird going on with them right now, though. It's way more rare than it should be. Real Cat Died says, all I read in the Q&A was great ideas, no ETA. And that's what I said at the beginning. I thought it was a little bit interesting that there was a lot of #SoonTM in a Q&A. It was a lot of Q and not a lot of A, but nevertheless, I want to go over it with all of you so you can see it, because these are their words, right? This is what they're putting out, and I think that it's important to report on it with everyone here so we could chat about it. Crimson Beer says, I love the game more than I should, but I don't understand the lack of updates on their part, even before the layoffs. I agree, and you're not alone in that. So many of us so dearly love this game. This game has the potential to be the forever game, or for the very, very long game. I mean, I've played 20-some years of World of Warcraft. I have played so many years of so many games. And it's sad to see things fall short of their potential. We've seen it time and time again. There's a lot of early access games that never even fully make it to fruition. They get some updates here, and then they get rich on it, and they call it quits. There's so many different things that happen with games early in their development process. So we're right there with you. And we're in this together, Crimson Beard. We all love this game. We want to see it become the best version of itself that it can possibly be. Watson says, exactly, Void. Hard to type clearly on the old phone. Oh, yeah, I got you. Meta, great to see you. Welcome into the stream. Wildlands are some near Zebian dungeons normally. Oh, you're talking about the infested stuff? Yeah, they tend to hang out with the Zebians. They're all kind of infested and diseased, but in dungeons is where you can get a lot of them. Well, I say a lot of them, but that's where you can see a lot of the infested animals. The drops are still kind of low. Dragon King says, thank you very much, or thank you so much. Yeah, no problem. All right, let's see. What else do they say here? So we don't have the full picture, essentially, is what they're saying. Since you don't have the full context of our roadmap, we understand this can be confusing. Below, we'll address some of the most common points, and in the coming weeks, we plan to share an updated roadmap. So, I mean, yeah, they say since we don't have the context of the roadmap, it makes it very confusing, and that's true. We don't have the roadmap, but who has the capacity to give us the roadmap? Who has the ability to do that? You do, Mainframe. Give us the roadmap. Talk to us about these things. Be a little more communicative with everybody. But they do say that in the coming weeks, plural, we plan to share the updated roadmap. So we look forward to seeing that, and we'll do a full breakdown of that once it does come out. We have different categories now. I know the text on screen is kind of small, but I'm on the Discord. This is the only thing that we have to use as a visual for you guys. So I figured this was better than just having the forest background. At least you get to see what I'm looking at and reading here. I'd like to see this go on the website so people can see these Q&As pop up on there, because not everybody uses the Discord. I know I've said that before. Not everyone uses the Discord. Watson says, I'm not sure that many of the devs have a full picture of the roadmap as well. And that may be the case. I have no idea. I don't know. I'm going to turn on some lo-fi music here for us to have in the background. Hopefully it's just quiet enough to give a little bit of ambiance while we read through and work through all of these things. Let me know how the volume is on all that stuff, but it should be pretty good. Here we go. First category, social/clans. And the first common question here. Remember, these are questions that they've seen pop up. This isn't all of the questions that people have, obviously. These are just some popular ones that they thought necessary to put into a small Q&A. This was posted earlier today as well. So this is not like old info or anything like that. This just came out. When will we have updated clan permissions? This has been a big problem. We need to be able to make our own ranks within the clan and give them permissions to various things. We need a full-fledged permission system. We need the option to be able to restrict people's access to build and or destroy. We need to have the opportunity to stop people from accessing certain chests based on rank, not just open to clan or aldermen or elders. We have those three options right now, but we need to be able to make our own rank. So that way you can have new initiates put into kind of their own little new blood category while they show that they're going to act in good faith, right? You need to be able to have restricted access to certain things. We need people to be able to use machines and or production workstations to be able to make and produce things without needing to have build permissions or destroy permissions on the plots. Very, very basic things. I don't think I'm alone in that. I think that that's a very widespread thing that people want. Everyone who I've talked to has reiterated the same thing, so I'm great to see that they have this question on here. Let's see what they have to say about it though. Permission changes are still in the works. We can't share an ETA at the moment. I need to bring up, you know what we need to do? We need to bring up, someone get a hashtag SoonTM counter going. Can we get a hashtag SoonTM1 in chat? Hashtag SoonTM1. We can't share an ETA at the moment. I mean, how many times does that need to be the sentiment coming from Mainframe? We want to do this. It's in the works. We can't share any details yet. When can we have those details? Will we get it by launch? Hashtag SoonTM1. Thank you, Ange. Thank you. Though it might come sooner than initially expected. When was it initially expected? Because I have been expecting that for a very long time now. And I don't think that that's too much to ask. We need to have a proper permission system, just like we need to have a proper, I would carry this over also to a proper loot permission system. We need to have proper loot mechanics in the game. When something drops, I need to be able to set it to raid leader loot. We need to set it to only this rank to loot. We need to be able to set it to this is the designated loot person. We need to set it to round robin. We need to set it to free for all. We need to have all of these settings in order to make the experience feel more fluid. But they say no promises though. Well, there you have it. They can't share anything. They know it's a problem and it's a question, but apparently no one at Mainframe has an answer for us. They can't share any details on it. No promises. I'm not sure. I would not be surprised if we just don't get it even by the time that the game launches, because it's coming out in the fall, guys. It's coming out sometime this fall. That's in the next couple of months. The game is going to 1.0. You're going to have to pay a subscription. Well, you're not going to have to. We've talked about this extensively, but you're not going to have to pay a subscription, but you're probably going to be paying a subscription or be urged to pay a subscription in order to have any of your plots and want to build, if you want to build, you're absolutely going to need to pay. So they're asking for your money, but they don't know and they can't tell you when you're going to have any proper permissions for your clan. The number one thing of the game is to bring people together. That's our first question. We're not off to a great start. We're not off to a great start here. We can't share an ETA at the moment. No promises. The next question we have here, can we invite someone to a group without being in front of them? You used to be able to do this, I remember. Back in the day, you used to be able to do this. You could type /invite and it would invite someone to your party. I'm not crazy on that, right? Do you guys remember that too? Do you remember that being a thing where you could just type a command and it would invite someone to your party? The cat died, thank you. We're gonna keep that going. So let's keep track of what number we're on here. Do you guys remember when you could just do the / command to invite someone to your party? Yes. Okay. So you do remember that. Hold on now. Let's not be too hastily adding things to the SoonTM counter. Let's slow down here. Wasn't that in the alphas? It may have been in the alphas, but at some point it was a thing. Silas says permission systems are overall, relatively easy depending on the depth. A simple 10-slot clan perm system can be done within a day. Meta says, don't forget their time on seasons means release can be late December. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, for sure. But I mean, we're not looking at, in the grand scheme of things, all too far out. And we're still missing so many features. That may have been in the alphas, but I do remember you used to be able to use a command. They say here, it is already on our backlog, no ETA though. So another hashtag SoonTM. And you were right. That is hashtag SoonTM number 2. Remember, this is supposed to be a question and answers We're supposed to be getting answers to these questions, not just acknowledging of the questions. These are supposed to be answers to those questions. So can we invite someone to our group without being in front of them? It's already in our backlog. They have a very big backlog, I'm thinking, because I skimmed over this and they mentioned backlog a lot, but there is no ETA. Fadril says, I recall that feature when I first joined Blood Brothers. So it had to have been out of alpha then. It had to have been when it was already out of alpha. Now guys, listen. I get called a doomsayer. I get called a fanboy. I get called everything in between. I'm here to just talk about the truth. I'm literally just reading it and giving our thoughts on it. I want you guys to give your thoughts on these things as well. Now, if you're new here, a lot of this stuff has been ongoing for a very long time. It's easy to think that I'm just being cynical or something like that. I'm really not. I'm being as fair as I possibly can with, I mean, this is supposed to be a Q&A. Where are the answers? We just want some answers, right? Next question here is, it would be nice to have groups larger than 6. What do you think? Now, I'm not really sure how prevalent this question is. I haven't really heard that from anybody. But then again, I mean, I haven't interacted with I've interacted with hundreds of people in the PAX Day community from other clans, other communities and things like that. I haven't really heard this being mentioned too much. I mean, I have talked about raids. I think it'd be cool to have a raid, but we need a reason to have a raid. Right now, the reason for us would be we like to go to dungeons in big groups and just have fun and brawl and test things. And for PvP, it'd be nice to start a raid party just so that way we don't PvP with other clans when we invite them into the raid group and stuff like that. That would be a lot of fun. That would be the most useful thing. And with PvP just around the corner, I mean, we could talk about that too, but PvP just around the corner, it'd be nice to have a raid group, but there's no raid bosses. There's no world bosses. There's no real need PvE wise to like come together on such a big group. But I haven't really heard this asked too many times. Hey, Fadril with a Tangia Dungeon. Remember guys, if you want to get in those Tangia Dungeons, all you have to do is type !Tangia, log in the top right corner and have the page pulled up. They're free to join other people's dungeons. So get in on those dungeons. Those things are a lot of fun. They say that would be great, but it's a fairly complex UI project, so it's unlikely we'll do this in the near future. But yeah, so that's not really another #SoonTM because they said it's not coming soon, and it's unlikely probably that we'll get that at all, is how I read that. Let's catch up on a little bit of chat here. How did something that was working magically thrown into the backlog, Red said? I don't know. I'm not really positive. Rester says Mojo Coffee Brewing Guide of the top and off topic on Discord. To me, that so Q&A is the whole. You think that the entirety of the Q&A is #SoonTM? The Real Cat Died says invite to party died when they integrated Discord in game chat. You know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. They integrated the whole Discord thing in, which I'm not even that big of a fan of, anyways. Meta says verse 1, you could /invite. Okay, yeah, so it was, I think you're right, Cat Died. I think it was with the whole Discord integration. We need larger parties since dungeons require sometimes more than 6 people. I agree, yeah. I want them. I just haven't heard that, being a big issue from anyone else. I haven't really heard that said that much. That's why I was like, is this really a common question? And it says, it's fine. Mainframe never disappoints me with lacking on #SoonTMs. Meta says, dungeons require more than 6 people due to them scaling where you have potions, better gear, and food we don't have at the moment. I think you can clear dungeons with 6 people. You just have to be so careful and use crowd control and stuff, but that's probably what they're designed for. With them not being instanced, you can bring more than that, in which case we should have systems that allow us to bring more than that. Right now, it's a little difficult. We have a system that does work that I've shown off on the channel, and it's actually a really fun system to work around the whole not having a raid party thing. Real Cat Died says, I think everyone complaining about party size at the very beginning, and then complaints died down since players adapted. Maybe, yeah. I haven't really heard it be a big issue. Nas says, a lot of the XP scaling for groups is based off of 6 people, so throwing more people in would screw up that scaling. That may be true, Nas. I don't really think that would be that hard to fix, though, really. I mean, we're talking about numbers in a database. We're not really talking about needing to reprogram anything. I think scaling and XP modifiers based on group sizes and stuff, those are all mathematical algorithms that can just be changed on the fly, I would think. I mean, I'm okay with there being only 6 people in a party, but I think that raid groups should be a thing, especially for PvP. I think we're going to need that, right? I don't want to take Nas, I don't want to take you and your group out to PvP and then have to worry about us like stabbing each other. You know what I mean? We shouldn't have to worry about that. If we want to team up, we should be able to team up, I think, in my opinion, and be able to better coordinate. I think it'd just be a great feature, but I'm not too burnt about not having raid groups and stuff because we don't really have dragons or anything like that just yet even. Brian, welcome into the stream. He says, don't need bigger parties when there won't be more than 6 people online at any given time anyways. I mean, so let's see. Let's pull it up. That brings up a good point. Let's see. Let's look at these numbers here. Let's expand it back. We're at 325 24-hour peak and 285 players right now. Here's when the patch came out. We're at just under 2,300, and you can see it as we wait for content dwindle down. You could see this before if we extrapolate back further. Same thing happened. We were up at 2,400. This peak was 2,271. So the peaks are getting lower, and the taper off looks about the same. We go back one more. You can see the peak. This really shows a big picture here. You can see the peaks are getting smaller. That shows that less and less people are willing to return. And here's the whole picture of launch, and then the taper, the peak, the taper, the peak, the taper. So there's the numbers. I like to show that because it does show the bigger picture of things. Now says, yeah, but they scratched thin on people as it is. They're scratched thin on people. Plenty of other things to be working on. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. They have a ton of stuff that they need to be working on. I agree there. Red says 6 people in a single group would be like 20% of the overall in-games population. Raster says dynamic group sizes when? Yeah, I don't know. But I don't think this is really, I don't think this is a hashtag soon TM.
Regarding party sizes, at least PAX has larger groups than Tangia Dungeons. Oh, wait.
Wait, how many people were in the last Tangia dungeon? How many people were in that dungeon? All right, let's move on here to our next point that they bring up. Can we move containers on our plots? Destroy and rebuild chests is inconvenient, especially since we need so many. Now, this is actually a really good question. I haven't really heard this said by too many people, but this is a great question. We do need a lot of chests. I would like to see something done about that, especially considering that very soon you're going to have to pay for your plots. Every square inch of that plot is going to be real money. That's going to be real estate, right? Very valuable real estate at that. So it'd be nice to not have to use up an entire floor of your building or multiple floors or your, whatever it may be, big rooms in your building for chests, for walls of chests. I think something should be done about that. Give us bigger chests or something like that. I don't know. Just what is the harm in letting us store more things more easily? And we talked about the loopholes with maybe some of the ways that you can get things put back into your redeeming queue to free up a lot of storage space and things like that, and then use your redeeming queue to pull things back out. We talked about all that on previous episodes, but people want to be able to move containers on their plot. Now, other games like V Rising, you can have a fully working machine or a full chest filled with different items and stuff like that, and you can move them around on your plot. You just enter build mode, you click and drag it where you want it to go, and it will manifest over, carries all the data, all the items over to the new location within the same plot. And I think that's what people are wanting to do here. When they're wanting to go up and pick up a chest and move it over to a different location. And they said, this is indeed a good improvement, and we've already added it to our backlog. So that's the next thing on the backlog. I don't know if this really constitutes a hashtag soon TM because this doesn't sound like it's really coming soon. It's on the backlog. It's hashtag not soon TM. But I think that would be a really great feature. What do you guys think about the situation with storage right now as it is in PAX Day? And would you like to be able to move things around like that? I think it'd be nice to be able to move completely full machines. I mean, realistically, how could that be a bad thing, right? It's just like, hey, I don't want to have to wait for this thing 2 days for it to finish cooking all of this stuff. I need to move it over here temporarily so I can finish building this part of my base. I think that'd be a nice thing, right? Nice quality of life feature there. Meta says, couldn't we move chests in verse 1? I don't really remember, to be honest. It feels like a lifetime ago, even though it was earlier this year. I'm not really sure. Well, early last year, I guess. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. Did we used to be able to move chests? Havoc, how's it going? Welcome into the stream, buddy. Great to have you here. Athena says, I would love to see a list of their backlog. That's actually a really great point. That would be a lot of transparency. That'd be really cool to see, actually. We need a roadmap, and it'd be nice to see the backlog. Athena, great idea. Yeah, Red says the same thing. I'd love to see this mythical backlog and how much stuff is on it. That's a great point. That'd be really telling, actually, to see that. Nas says, I don't remember being able to move chests. Yeah, I don't as well, but I mean, that doesn't mean that we couldn't do it. Maybe we were able to, and I just never tried. I'm not sure, but nevertheless, I think that would be a nice quality of life feature. This is a big one. This is one that I've seen in a lot of places. When will trees growing through foundations on plots be fixed? They say this is quite complex. We're still investigating, and the first fix will address small trees. More updates, #SoonTM. That's another #SoonTM. What are we up to, 3 now? We're up to 3 #SoonTMs. This has been ongoing since the beginning of the game. This has been a problem for a very long time. People don't like when these come through their property. I don't like when the grass comes through my foundations either. It makes it so I have to put the foundations just high enough above the grass. And if that grass is down there, is that still taking up processing power? I don't know. I think it should just clear out all of the small trees. Man, this is a big one. This is a frustrating one because the home valleys got smaller, but their plot density stayed the same. And the world got revamped for like the 4th or 5th time now, and there's not all that much in terms of prime real estate in these home valleys now. So you have these high density home valleys with plots, but you have very limited places to actually build on prime real estate that, you know, very quickly get chewed up, and then there's not a lot of places to be able to build on the side of mountains and stuff like that. Obviously, you can get creative and always find different places to build, but the trees coming through your property, they just limit where you can build. You have these tiny little trees scattered in certain areas, and now that becomes a place where no one really wants to build. Meta says, blocking trees worked for the first hour of launch, by the way. What do you mean blocking trees? You mean like blocking them from growing through the plots, or blocking as in like blocking them off? What do you mean, Meta, by blocking trees? Watson says, I also don't think the interwebs isn't big enough for the mainframe backlog list. You think that list is pretty long, Watson? Meta says, I know for a fact I had the tree gone. You know for a fact you had the tree gone, then it bugged out and removed the foundation. Then they came back permanently. Interesting. So you're saying that at some point they were experimenting with removing them? Maybe they ran into some roadblock with it. It'd be nice to know, though. Maybe they can tell us a little more about that. But they did say more updates, #SoonTM. But yeah, I mean, that's a big problem, I think. We need to have more prime real estate in these valleys, less areas chewed up by tiny little trees that just keep poking through everything. This is another really big one. What about the unusable square in the middle of joined plots? This has been the bane of so many people's existence. It gave us a lot of grief when we were first building Bloodhaven in verse 3. Whenever you're trying to work with a lot of people and get a lot of plots placed together to build a city. Now, granted, this probably won't be too big of an issue after launch because people will have to pay for these plots, so there'll be a lot less of them. But I digress. It's a big issue when you're trying to place plots together. You have plots that if you place them in a grid next to each other and you don't stagger them, you have a big square in the middle of it. A big square right in the middle that you can't build. Big problem when you're trying to make a nice cohesive city, right? So what you have to do is you have to stagger them. You have to put them like dominoes and stack them up, splitting the gap just perfectly, aligning them just perfectly. Otherwise, when you do a city like Bloodhaven and you're 100 plots deep, when you get to the back by the forest, you're starting to place these down and they're off center a little bit because they lock together just so. And that tiny little bit that you were off in the beginning ends up being a hole in the back of your plots. Now, most people probably won't have an issue with that because they're not placing that many plots together. A lot of people are probably just placing a couple plots here and there. and they're not really worried about it. They got to get their 4 or 8 plots to lock together, and that's not too hard to do. But it was a big headache for us. Big headache for us. We placed down over 100 plots just for the city, and then it's surrounded by a couple extra 100 plots around where people were trying to lock them together in good, fun ways so they could work together on building things. It's been a big problem. What do they have to say about the squares in the middle of the plots? This only occurs when plots are placed in a specific way. I mean, that's true, but the specific way is very broad. There's actually only one way to get them not to show up, and that's to stagger them and honeycomb them together. So I think that's a little disingenuous by saying that only happens when they're placed in a specific way. They're talking about the square, though. The square specifically does only show up when you place them like with no stagger at all in a grid. If you stagger them somewhat, you'll still get a hole. It just won't be a square. Now I've said, I know this probably would take some programming, but I've said that they should just split that between all the plots. So what if they get an extra 5% land coverage? Okay. It's better than having a big unusable hole or any weird shape in the middle of your plots. Cat Died says the servers on launch couldn't handle all the building requests the first few hours. Yes, that was really bad. It was lagging terribly. It took 2 days for it to catch up. Yeah, I remember that. That was really bad. That's actually caught on stream, us trying to mess with that stuff, if you go back to my really early streams. Maven says, I had no talent to stagger them correctly, and sometimes despite placing them well, the square showed up anyways. Yeah, and that's why I think that it's a little disingenuous to say that this only occurs when you place them a very specific way. That's just not true. It's easier than you think to have a dead space in your plot. You have to try intentionally not to get that. You can avoid it by using non-square pattern. Yeah, but not entirely, like I just said. Even if you stagger them, they have to be staggered absolutely perfect, otherwise downstream you will end up with holes. They say this issue stems from the underlying geometry math, and fixing it would require fundamental changes to the plot system. We've explored alternatives, but all viable solutions would mean removing free place plots, and it's something we don't want. Now, you guys have heard me talk before about the way that V-Rising has done their plot system, their claiming system. I actually prefer their system, but that's just me. I've talked to other people, they agree. I've talked with some people, they disagree. Some people like the free place system. I do think the free place system is very cool, but you are going to have problems like this that will require a lot of work to get a proper solution. How V-Rising did it was you used to be able to place your plots anywhere. You could place castle hearts wherever you wanted. You could stagger them. The problem was then it became a problem for PvP because it wasn't balanced. You would have people layering their castles in order to protect their most valuable assets. You would have people walling people in. If you didn't build along the road, then someone could put a plot in front of you and block you off from the road. Some of these issues, you can obviously see the similarities over with PaxCast. What they ended up doing was they switched over to a property system. There are predefined properties around the world, and basically how it works is you go place your castle heart. Now that entire property is reserved for you. You could build anywhere on it. Doesn't mean you have unlimited build pieces, because in there you have to actually upgrade your castle heart in order to be able to build more build pieces and expand your territory and things like that. But it was really good because now you don't have to worry about all of those issues. They all go away with that one change. In my opinion, and I'm just one person on the internet, in my opinion, that's a better system. Now, I know that would be pretty hard to implement with the way the world is in PaxCast. I'm not saying it's a one-to-one easy translation over, but I do think that that should be something they should consider. Meta says if you placed foundations on small trees and medium trees, they wouldn't respawn. If you cut them down, then they had huge server issue for after the first hours of launch. Cat Died says agrees with Maven. Meta says they can fix the plot gap by making a small square plot filler that could overlap them. That would be interesting. Interesting solution there, Meta. Oh no, you missed the Tangia Dungeon. Crimson Beard says, I'll take V-Rising and it works versus when we have with what we have, it works 2% of the time. Yeah, I really like the way that V-Rising does it. But those squares in the middle of the plots, those things are super annoying. They say this is unlikely to change, and players will need to work around it with the plot placement, as many of you already do, as everyone already does, because we have to, but it's not a perfect system. So they acknowledge that it's not a perfect system, This is kind of an answer to that question, though. They basically said, we're not doing anything about it. We've tried to. We don't know what to do about it, so it's going to remain. And I think that is a viable answer. Sometimes we have to be told, no, this is how it's going to be. At least they're being straight with us and they're telling us that's how it's going to be. And I respect that. Brian says, aren't we in early access where stuff is introduced for the players to test? Yes, absolutely, 100%. 100% you're correct. That has been one of my biggest criticisms of them as well. They seem to want to perfect everything before they release it. I use the chairs as an example, being able to sit. They postponed that several months because they just didn't like, the animations weren't polished enough. So it got postponed for a very long time. I think that systems should make them into our hands faster, but it's up to them when they want to release things, obviously. We're just along for the ride. This is their journey. We're just here to experience it with them, like I've said so many times. If they want to wait to release more polished things, that's fine. But we're going to end up in this is why we end up in the situation we're in, right? We're further down the development process now. We're several or just a couple months away from full release, and we don't have a lot to show for it. So I think that the sooner they release things for us to test, the better. So what? We don't like it. So what? We point out the parts that are wrong with it. So what? We say it's not very polished. Of course, they gave it to us sooner so we could test it. It is kind of a double-edged sword, so I understand that, developers don't want to just release things in a bad state, but, I mean, come on, we're in early access, right? We need to be able to test some stuff. Let's see, what do they say here about, what about changing the shape of plots? So this goes on a little more about the plot issue. Multiple plot shapes would be extremely complicated, and that is very unlikely to ever happen. I mean, that's not going to happen. The plot system is probably going to stay exactly how it is. For example, square plots could eliminate gaps, but only if we also remove plot placement. And that is something that would make building around geographic features far less flexible. I do agree with that. I think that if you can't free place, obviously it's harder to build around geographic things, and it would lose a lot of flair of the world. People like to build in unique places, and they make do with what they have. So I don't really see them changing that system anytime soon. I think it's probably going to stay exactly how it is. Crimson Beard says, do you think they've held back and on release it's a different game, or is it just what we have with small tweaks? A lot of people have said that. And I don't have an answer for you, unfortunately. I have thoughts and opinions on it, but I don't have an answer. We like to theorycraft here on the channel. I would like to think that they weren't holding stuff back, and hear me out. Some people are like, oh, surely they're holding back on a lot of big features. I would love to think that as well, but I really don't think that that would be wise for the development process. And I would like to think that they weren't doing that, because we are supposed to be the testers. If those features are to be tested and made sure that they work and feel good, wouldn't they want to put those in our hands? So I don't know. I would like to think that they aren't sandbagging, but I also like to think that they are at the same time, because if you think about it, we're missing so many features, and we haven't gotten a lot of content added into the game, so that would be nice to think, hey, maybe there's this whole slew. I think it's wishful thinking at the end of the day. Hey, there's this whole slew of information and new stuff that we just didn't know about because they were just holding on to it, waiting to release. I don't know. It's a tough one to say, you know. I don't think they're holding back. I think they have some features on their build that they're testing internally. But I don't think it's as big as we think. Let's see, a little bit more chat here. Red says, my conspiracy theory, they have a full game ready to go. They're just holding back to see how pissed off we could be before they drop it. I don't know. I disagree. I don't think that's the case. At least I'd like to think that that's not the case. Fadril says, my gut says that they've been holding back, but I don't think the majority will be at 1.0. I don't know. It's such a hard thing to pin down, right? It's easy to look back at what we've gotten so far and say, oh, well, clearly they're holding back because how could they only have accomplished this, this, and this in this amount of time? So I can see where people could get that idea, but I just don't know. I don't have an answer for you. They obviously have a backlog. So maybe they have stuff that they're holding back. I don't know. Maven says, we know that they had the friends and family under NDA testing, but we don't know that that still exists, Maven. That could still exist, but we don't know if it still exists. We've also seen things that they've taken away. They've taken away a lot of stuff. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. I suspect there's a different build package they're working on that we aren't playing on. Well, for sure. I mean, that's common, right? I'm not saying that they don't have their own little test build, because they've talked about, like in that dev interview, they talked about a lot of different systems that are supposedly being worked on. I would like to think that they have those at their disposal internally to mess around with, but I don't think that that is like, hey, let's put it this way. I don't think they're saying, or that I don't think that this is the reality where they're going to say, hey, here's 1.0, here's these 5 new features that are perfectly polished. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't see that happening. The Crimson Beard says, just my thoughts though. I only get to the real, oh, let's see here. Hold on. What did you say? My thoughts are they know 1.0 is more crucial than ever before, and they're considering the state of PAX, how it is now. Crimson Beard goes on to say, just my thoughts though. They only get one true release. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's kind of a common thing now where games will try and pull No Man's Skies. I mean, look at No Man's Sky, released in such a terrible, just absolute garbage state, and now people rave about it. I don't know. I'm still not sold on that game, but so many other things to play. I do think that there's only so much time people are willing to wait or put into a project, especially when there's no progress being made. Like you could look at Star Citizen, long development time, but there are very frequent big features added that allow people to hop back in every month or so, every couple weeks, every couple months, something like that, where they can test out these massive features. And there's a very clear development process that happens there. They have a very clear roadmap where you can see how many people in each team are working on different projects and what's upcoming. They do their podcasts and stuff with Inside Star Citizen. So you get a little more of a glimpse into it. Here, I think our theories run wild because we're just left in the dark on a lot of things. Cat Died says, Fadril and Maven, are y'all partaking in the Renowned backer test this Sunday? Good question. My big problem with Renowned is the devs have said that they're not doing anything and they don't intend to do anything about offline rating. Without private servers, I see that being a massive issue because you'll literally have to just rebuild from scratch and start the game over every single time you log into the game because people are just going to wait for you to be offline to raid you. That's my problem with that game. Virgil says, I didn't see that Cat Died. If I'm home and not seeing houses to buy, and I'll try it. Maven says, thanks for the heads up, Cat. I actually didn't know about it until just now. I'll definitely want to check that out too. I do like that game. I think it has a lot of potential, but I think the whole, we're not going to do anything about offline rating. I think that's a big issue. Cat Died says, let's link up. I'll protect you if you guys do the harvesting and building. Nice. Yeah, I definitely want to check more out about that game. I'm just not sold on it. The offline rating thing is one of the biggest problems. I see that being such a problem that for me it would be a hard pass unless I have a private server that can be moderated completely in-house, not rented, and all of that stuff. You have the server files for it? Wait, so they released private server files? We are setting up a server for Renown, got the server files of it now. How did you get the server files? Is that something that they released and I just didn't hear about? So we can set our own rules and moderate? Yeah, that's exactly what I would do for it, 100%. So if that's the case, that actually does change it, because then we would have password protection on it and stuff. Message me on Discord, Cat Died, and let me know. Yes, they released server files, need Linux Debian. I host, that's my main host is Linux Debian. That's perfect. Absolutely, yeah, I'd love to check that out. I'd host a private server for CBU. Anybody who'd want to partake, then there would be strict rules against offline rating. Like I did that for a game called Unturned back in the day. We had rules for offline rating. We had things to make it fair and fun for everybody. You couldn't just log off in order to avoid a raid. If you were previously online when the raid had initiated by someone and it was announced, then you were free to continue the raid as if the person was online because they tried to log off to avoid it and stuff. I'll send you the link to the wiki. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that more because that was my biggest problem. I was like, hey, if they're gonna not do anything about offline rating and we don't have private servers, this game, for me personally, the game would not be worth playing. That doesn't sound fun to me to log in every day and have to start over again. That's interesting though. All right, let's continue here with the Q&A. When will we get door permissions? This has been a big one. Door permissions has been a big one for people. people want to be able to lock their doors. I have seen several people be harassed by other individuals because there's nothing you can do about it on your plot. Once you're paying real money for your plot, once you are paying actual hard-earned cash for your property, you need to be able to determine who's allowed in that property and who's not. Massive, massive problem right now. If you can't lock your property, if you can't restrict people from attaching their plots to your plots, if you can't stop people from harassing you in-game and the developers and the staff are not going to do anything about said harassment, that's going to be a massive problem for PAX Day. Right now, anybody can just come on your property, sit around, harass you, say whatever they want within the means of the terms of service, and ruin your RP events, do whatever they want on your property, walk into your front door, sleep in your bed, eat your porridge, and everything in between. Big, big problem. Maven says, I threatened to put a trespasser to work for not leaving our home before. Nice. This is a big, big problem. So let's see what they say about that. This is a high priority permission item. More details coming, #SoonTM. Let's get another #SoonTM on the counter. What is that for? I thought we'd have more than that by now, honestly. But they are working on getting door permissions. I mean, I think to start off, we need to get doors that work. I don't even put doors right now because they can't keep people out. And you can't even tell when the doors are open or closed. Soul and Demon says, oh, I can lock them out by using walls. Yeah, I guess that's true. You could use walls. People have definitely done that. You shouldn't have to do that though. You should be able to lock your front door. I mean, they could even turn it into a gameplay feature, have lock picks and stuff, have a crime and punishment system. Someone picks your lock, it flags them for PvP in the open world, and anybody who wants to can jump them, tie it into the night system or something, have a reputation system. There's so many different things that they could do to make the system so engaging and fun, but not being able to lock your house is that's a problem. Raster says, hobos welcome at the Willow Inn, grins. Maven, thank you for the super chat. The 2nd out of 5 super chats towards our super chat goal. #soon is not a full stop no, at least. No, that's true. That's absolutely true. Thank you for the super chat. And you're 100% correct there. I mean, and that's why we do the #soon TMs. It's kind of a fun little thing to blow off steam and just have an outlet for that frustration of, how are you going to do a Q&A and not give us the A? You're just giving us the Q. It's just a little fun thing, obviously, but rep system would be cool. Crimson Beard says rep system would be golden. Yeah, I agree. Blimpy says, oh my God, missing the stream again. Well, luckily we're only an hour and 7 minutes in. We still have a little bit to go through this. So you made it just in time. Let's say that, Blimpy. Great to have you. Thanks for tuning in. You've just arrived as soon as you needed to, Blimpy. For all else, there is a rewind button. Yeah, you absolutely can go back. Vidril, thank you for all the Tangia Dungeons. Flashbang. Oh, that was Maven doing the Tangia Dungeon this time. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the Tangia Dungeons. Okay, let's see here. So door permissions, we've addressed that. Let's scroll down a little bit here. Do you plan to add a first-person view for building? I have heard this a lot as well. They say a first-person camera is not trivial to implement. Is it not? I mean, I would imagine that wouldn't be that hard. Developers in the house, is it that hard to make it to where you scroll in all the way? The camera goes right to where your character's head is and then makes your character go invisible to yourself? Is that all that hard? I would not imagine that would be that difficult. I'm not a developer though. I have modded things, I have hosted things, I've set up, I've programmed things on Linux. I've not programmed a game though. Is that a hard thing to do? And they say, and it may not solve all reported issues. That may be the case, sure. I do think it'd be nice to build in first person though. I think it would eliminate not being able to see where you're placing certain things, especially in tight areas. If you can be more specific about this problem, we could look into fixing it. I think the issue is people want to go first person. I think that they think that going first person will make placing things easier. Like when you're trying to place a table lamp and you have to look around your character model or spin your camera in a certain way to get it to be able to place, I think that'd be easier to do in first person. RW says, it's not that hard, but it can break a lot of stuff if it wasn't planned for originally. Okay, yeah. I mean, I can see that. We got a lot of chats coming in right now. Bear with me one second while I scroll up here. I'm going to read through some of these. Blimpy says, a Blimpy is never late. A Blimpy arrives exactly when he intends. I was working on my vehicle earlier and couldn't touch my phone. So could hear, but couldn't type. Oh, I gotcha. Other chat here. Real Cat Died says, I mean, at this point, it sounds more like complaining. Stop asking us to do hard things. Cryface, Cat Died says. I guess it could be interpreted as that, 100%. Yeah, I can see that. Dragon King says, do you think PAX could have endgame problems at launch like Dune did with PvP, PvE resources? Or doesn't PAX have PvE endgame in PvE area? I definitely think that you're on the right track there with that thought pattern. I do think that it will have issues with that, especially considering I've talked to a lot of people in the community and the PvP is not really the direction they want the end game to be going. We want like dragons and things like that. PvP's fine, but when it's directly ingrained in getting the best stuff in the game and you have to go to PvP in order to acquire the stuff that you need in order to PvE, it becomes a very messy system. We've talked extensively about that before here on the channel. Dune Awakening does have a big problem with this. Their endgame is struggling really, really hard, but at least they're starting to address it. They've acknowledged it. They're talking about changes. They made some changes immediately by expanding the Deep Desert's PvE zone. So I think that it is in the works for Dune Awakening. I don't know what Mainframe's doing to give us a PvE endgame, but I definitely could see that being a problem. Maven says, that note they left for that point was kind of interesting. Folks have been very clear. I felt that with feedback. Or just do an over-the-shoulder adjustment so you can see directly in front of your character. Yeah, I mean, even an offset, that would help a lot too. It's just hard to place things directly in front of you. Fidril says, it is my opinion that several of the functions of the UI that's requested is a poor hindsight of Mainframe team. They don't think they did proper. Oh, you don't think they did proper surveying of what players want / expect from an MMO. Real Cat Died says, I have PvP in social sandbox games. It isn't a good fit in my opinion. Let's see what else we got here. Cat Died says, in Dune Awakening, we have been fielding 15 to 20 people every night and having a lot of fun in the deep desert. Yeah, we have a ton of people on our server going out into the deep desert and stuff too. And, but there's only so much you can do. Like there's literally no opposition out there for our size. We completely run the land strad. The public servers are filled with hackers to where the numbers have plummeted off a cliff. So private servers, in my opinion, are really the only way to play that game. You have to keep paying for your private server. Otherwise you lose your save file and there's not too much to do anymore. Oh, this is tiny. I don't know if I can read it. Rumors, PAX coming out with their something update. It's a little blurry and tiny in the corner. I love those Discord pop-ups. I wish it read them though, because they're so small. They're made to be real. That's why it doesn't read them. But yeah, we've had a lot of people still having fun in Dune Awakening. The problem is though, what do you do once you've acquired everything? What do you do once you already have enough materials? I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of spice melange in the clan, and it's like, what do you do now at this point? There's no other task to overcome. I think they could expand the scope of that game. Let us go to other planets and things like that. Let us expand into the rest of the Dune universe. Give us more to do on the PvE side, because the PvP side's just filled with hackers. We're kind of the last big clan in our world. Yeah, same with us. I mean, we completely just run everything now. So it's been fun to dominate. Right, but what are you dominating? What actually are you dominating? Dragon King says, I have more faith in Dune, I think, just my opinion. Dune is a really great game. It's a lot of fun. It's a really, really great game. Ashes has been a ton of fun. Ashes looks very, very promising. You guys should check out my Ashes streams. Real Cat Died says, I mean that PvP and social sandbox games. Oh, you hate PvP and social sandbox games? Watson says, I think the devs believe in their own hype and they're scared to share things because they don't want negative feedback, which in turn automatically creates exactly what they don't want. That's an interesting take on it. Cat Died says, it's the combat, working together to collect spice and plastinium. But Once you have it, yeah, there's not much left to do. Exactly. I mean, but there's no one else to really dominate. We've met like a couple people out there and they've just been like nice people and understanding and fun to be around, but it's, I don't know, man. It's kind of a dead end game in my opinion for Dune. Great game though, like the Haga Basin, the level, the quest, the progression, absolutely phenomenal. And that's why I really want a good end game for that game. So that's what they had to say about first person building. Now we're on to crafting here. So this crafting section, let me get this up right here. I know it's kind of actually covered up a little bit. Give me 1 second. I didn't realize that it was covered up by the Tangia Dungeons. I know it's a little bit smaller now, but we'll put it right there. That should be good for you guys. Let me know how that is. Okay, so in crafting, they say, you've mentioned recycling for crafting. When will it be added? This has been a big one. Right now, one of the main problems is you have to craft 10 trillion things in PAX Day in order to get your crafting skills up. And a lot of them end up just being wasted because nobody wants the low-end stuff that you need to make while crafting. I think it's going to be a big, big problem after 1.0 when everything is fully wiped, because right now going into this current verse 3, we did not have to regrind all of our skills. They say we have some designs for recycling. They announced this how long ago? How long ago did recycling get announced? And planned to add it eventually, but there's currently no ETA. Hashtag soon TM. Add one to the board. Pgro, how's it going, man? Welcome into the stream. He says no ETA. Laughing my ass off. Yep. We're up to hashtag soon TM 5. They mentioned it a long time ago. You're right, Pgro. You are absolutely right. This has been a big problem. Will we be able to drop all into a container? Yes, this is already in the backlog. Hashtag SoonTM. Add another hashtag SoonTM. We're up to hashtag SoonTM 5. No ETA yet for when you'll be able to drop all into a container. Right now, keep spam clicking. Please show some love to professions like alchemy and jewel crafting. Now, this is an easy one for them. This is a given because they talked about this in the dev interview. Both alchemy and jewel crafting will receive updates with the upcoming PvP patch. Stay tuned. This isn't really a hashtag SoonTM, but it kind of is. I don't think we're not going to add another one, but this is coming in the next update. We just don't know when that update's going to be. There are too many meat chunks. Please adjust this. Agreed. We're planning on rebalancing meat pretty soon. Hashtag SoonTM. Add it. Get it on the board. Federal says recycling. I want to say late January. We're up to 7. This is supposed to be a Q&A. I find this kind of hilarious. I'm not trying to just be a jerk here. I mean, let's be honest. What do you guys think? Am I being a jerk with this, or are there just not a lot of answers? I think it's clear as day. There's so many. No ETAs. Stay tuned. Hashtag SoonTM. But there's no ETA. More details coming soon. I mean, that's crazy. Crimson Beard says, I think the idea of no NPCs was great, but they should have one large city per map, or one for all 4 maps where you can go for gladiator battles, PvP, and training. They said they're going to be adding, in the interview, they said they're going to be adding in duels. We don't know when, though. It's just so many hashtag SoonTMs. We don't have answers. There's a lot of questions, but not a lot of answers here. Let's see here. Can we craft X amount of items instead of 1 or all? That's a great question. Again, nice quality of life things. You wouldn't think it'd be that hard to add a button for that. They say we recently made crafting faster to help with this. I don't think that that's even what this question is about. Crafting faster is not, hey, can I craft just 10 of these and then go to the bathroom or get a drink? But they say, but we agree that crafting X option would be convenient. Added it to the backlog. It's not a hashtag SoonTM because they don't say it's coming soon. They just say that's going on the backlog. We almost need to start another thing called the hashtag backlogged. Oh man. Watson says, can you see what I mean about the whole thing is hashtag SoonTM? Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, there's not a lot of answers in here and it's kind of frustrating to be honest. Let's see the next part here. Can we remove items from the crafting queue? No. This is intentional so that processing crafters aren't used for storage. Well, you know what the easy thing, easy solution to this would be? Make storage not so abysmally tough that people are wanting to use their crafters as storage. How about that? Is that a crazy idea? Is that some otherworldly idea that's just, hey, what? Are you kidding me? We can't do that. That's way too crazy. I don't think that's crazy. Make the storage not so freaking difficult so people don't feel the need to want to store things in their crafters. And then you can allow people to remove things from the queue, because we can't move the stations while they're cooking. We can't move the stations while they're cooking. We can't move chests while they're full. All of this is to force people to have walls of chests? Come on.
Would be crazy enough to build a boat out of glass.
Oh my gosh. Bedrill. Thank you. Thank you so much for the Tangias. I appreciate you guys with all the Tangias. Those do help the channel a lot. I really appreciate you guys. Let's see. We got a lot of chat that I missed here. Let's skim over this. Blueprinting with Unreal Engine 5, Pigro says. Oh, let me read the rest of your message here. Hold on, I was working my way up. Let me work my way down. It's the excuses for everything that would be meaningful for PvE for me, like offensive spells and more NPCs. The chat is bouncing here. I'm trying to keep my place. And world bosses or player-to-player trade window, something that is a single function. Call in blueprinting for Unreal Engine 5. Cat Died says standardized stack sizes. Everything stacks to 200. Problem solved. That's actually not a bad idea. Raster says, my point with is the lack of respect the devs think today's gamers know about the systems providing off-putting answers to include the why due to how they went about integrations. Brian says, create a craftable storage bin that only allows input from crafting stations, the max limit of units. That's a good idea. That's a really great idea. I think it'd also be cool too to have storage devices or storage containers that only store one type of material, but a lot of that material. That'd be really nice as well. And make them, you know, not so big so you can have some of your plot back. I think this is all in an attempt to get people to get more plots, if you want my honest opinion. We're at backlog number 4. But yeah, I mean, that's just such a weird answer. Markets. Let's go on to markets. When will there be more ways to spend grace? This is a great question. Grace is not all that useful right now, in my opinion. I have like 6,000 grace. I've just been giving away gold so other people can get grace and buy stuff or do whatever they want because it's just not all that useful, really. The most useful thing for grace, I think, is the teleportation.
It's emotional damage.
Thank you for the Tangia Maven. I think that teleporting is cheap in games. I like natural traversal. I think that natural traversal is the best way to go about playing games because then you get to experience the beautiful world, right? There's such a beautiful world for us to experience, but you don't get to experience it when you just teleport places. Sure, you had to experience it once, but never again because you're just going to teleport. I think that's why everyone wants horse. They want horse added in because we want to be able to ride around in the world as opposed to just teleport. So the grace right now, not all that useful. They say definitely coming. So that's another hashtag soon TM. We're working on an update that will expand this part of the game significantly. Interesting. Can we have more information on what that means? What exactly does that mean? You're working on a system that will expand that part of the game significantly. Is that the church system? Why don't you just tell us? Just be plain with it. Just say, hey guys, we're working on the church system. The grace is really going to be tied in with that a lot. We talked a lot about this on our last PaxCast that we did as well. So if you guys want more insight on that, go back and check out my last episode of PaxCast. We go in depth on some of the bigger systems. We didn't get a whole lot of answers from them then either, but we definitely got more than we're getting right now. So hashtag soon TM, where grace is going to be more useful. When are market buy orders coming? We'd love to add them and agree that they are needed. It's only the complexity of implementation holding us back. No ETA yet. So, I mean, I don't know. Is that a hashtag soon TM? You throw another one up there. Hashtag soon TM, even though there's no ETA, but it will happen. So hashtag soon TM for market buy orders. When did they talk about those as well? Months ago. Months ago, they were talking about wanting to add these in. The numbers. This is great. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Let me know what you guys think about these too. Please don't be shy. Pop off in chat, guys. All of these different topics. I know I'm kind of spitfiring through some of these smaller ones, but if you feel strongly about one of these things, Mainframe checks these streams from time to time. We've had Osric in chat. We've been talking with them from time to time. Throw it in chat. Let them know. Just be good faith, act in good faith, and pop off in chat. Let me hear from you guys. Let's see. The next one is, what about direct player-to-player trades? Now, this has been something that we've wanted for a long time as well. We have some ambiguous tax on our market stalls for some reason. I built the market with my own two hands. It's on my own property. I don't have a king above me. All of this other stuff, but there's a tax. I get it. It's a gold sink. We've talked about this extensively as well. I don't want to, in terms of a bad pun, I don't want to, beat that dead horse with a stick anymore. Pun is that we don't have horse. But anyways, player-to-player trading is so important because right now people do it. They just have to do a workaround for it by putting stuff in a chest and trusting the other person. It's not a good system. We need to be able to open up a trade window, throw something in there. I'm sure it's going to be hashtag too much work or something. I don't know, but these are the basic systems of MMOs. They say that this is necessary, but again, they even say it themselves, but again, they literally say, but again, it requires a lot of work to implement correctly. Hashtag no ETA yet. So pop another one up there. Hashtag soon TM. I don't know. I mean, do the no ETAs count as soon? Those are kind of like not soon, but nevertheless, let's pop another one up there. Pigro says, thank God for you, Innerslew. Thank you for keeping it real and not just agreeing with every excuse or making excuses for some of these crazy statements. Pigro, I appreciate that statement more than you could ever know. I get DMs from people all the time who are fanboys of the game. And listen, I'm a huge fan of the game. Like I've said all along, I'm a huge fan of the game. I want the game to succeed. My criticisms are plain as day when you look at I'm not crazy for reading these and then thinking the things we're thinking, right? Obviously, that statement, Pigro, I love it, man. Thank you so much for that. I really, really do appreciate it. I get DMs from people who are like, your stuff's just too negative. I can't watch it anymore. My stuff's just real. I'm literally just keeping it real, as Pigro says. I'm here to tell you guys the truth and have these real conversations. We have more questions than answers from this Q&A so far. I really, really appreciate that, Pigro. Thank you so much, brother. We have a discrepancy here, Real Cat Died says. They're on 9, 10, 11. I don't know. I've lost count. Clearly you guys have too. Oh man. So no ETA, unfortunately, on that, guys. That's too hard. Hey, listen, it requires a lot of work, okay? PvE content. Please make bows and fletching more useful. This has been something that has been resonated by the community for a long time. The bows are useless. They're good for hunting, I guess, but that's about it. It's on the backlog, guys. It's already on the backlog. You can read that right here. It's already on the backlog. Can we have offensive spells back? We want this too and are working on designs. The challenge is making it work without making melee useless. It'll take some time. I don't know if this is a hashtag soon TM or not. Screw it, throw it up there. Hashtag soon TM, because they said sometime maybe in the fall we'd be getting offensive spells. I'm not going to hold them to that time frame, obviously, but throw another one up there. They took away our fireballs. The mind control stuff doesn't work in PvP. We have very little in the way of actual spells. They want this too. They're working on designs. So hopefully hashtag soon TM, we will get some offensive spells back. I think it'd be really cool. And I know a lot of people out there want to be mages. They want to have magic. We do have healing spells now, which is great. But I think a lot of people would love to chuck some fireballs. Maybe they removed this because of the whole Mez fireball issue. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't figure out how to fix that AI issue with the mobs, but I'd love to have fireballs back, give us some frost spells that slow people down. I mean, the easy way to balance that is just let us get our hands on it, see what's overpowered, and then tune accordingly, right? Isn't that how development process works? Whenever I was hosting servers for like Minecraft, I would have different mods in there, and some things were overpowered in those mods. What I would do is people would play with it in beta. I would see the statistics on all this stuff and the feedback, and I would adjust accordingly. And I would test it myself. I would say, oh, wow, yeah, I can kill that guy before he can even reach me, or I can kite this guy just by hitting him with ice spells and he can't reach me and melee's useless now. A lot of those things are fixed in balancing. The speed reductions, the damages that they're doing, all of these things can be changed in testing, but we can't test it if we don't have our hands on it. If we can't test it, you can't get the data, right? Pigro says, what can they figure out? Add it to both, Pigro says. I love it. All right, what else do we have here? We'd like more enemy varieties, dungeon bosses, and world bosses. I have been saying this for such a long time because the main thing that we have to do right now is go to dungeons with friends. We like going to the dark parts of the world and fighting the monsters, pushing back the evils of this world and protecting the free and innocent all across Galia is what the Blood Brothers do best. Well, it's hard to do that when you don't really have enemies to fight. When you really don't have a dragon oppressing a village, or ogres coming out of the woods to oppress the villages, and bandits requesting monetary gain from extorting people. It's hard when you don't have invasions or actually any real bosses. The bosses right now, I believe, are placeholders. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think that all the bosses are placeholders. I think that the bosses are basically just big meat shields. They hit a little harder, they're a little bit taller, and they have more health. I think they're placeholders. We need actual bosses with mechanics. We need world bosses. Let's see what they have to say about this issue. We're slowly working towards adding more enemies and enemy types. Making big enemies is hard work. Making big enemies is hard work. And us being a small team, they're not a small team, guys. This is yet another place in the game that we need to balance against all the other works. Essentially here what they're saying is they have a backlog and they have things, that's why I named the stream what I did, development priorities. They are trying to prioritize what they think is the most important stuff. So they think that having exclusive resources in PvP and overhauling the Lioness map is more important than you getting world bosses. That's how I see that. Because what are we getting next? We're getting an advanced, bigger PvP zone, which I don't think anyone really asked for. There's not a whole lot of people who really care about PvP in this game. We like to build stuff. We like to roleplay. We like to go on adventures. I mean, the vast majority of people I've interacted with, they want world bosses. But they think it's more important to give us a PvP map overhaul? Or overhauling our map for the 5th, 6th time now? It's kind of crazy when you think about that. So they need to balance that with all the other things that are in the works. Under current plans, there will be some new enemies coming to the game, but no big bosses in the near future. This stuff isn't even coming in the near future, guys. I'm sorry, that's very disheartening. That's very sad to see. We've been waiting so long. They've had these back in alpha. We saw them back in alpha. Maybe they were just big models, they didn't have animations, maybe they didn't have abilities, but like this should be, if I was making a game like PAX Day, this would be my top priority, giving people big, awesome things to come together to fight. Giving us giant bosses and dragons and wyverns and griffins and ogres and just crazy big demonic bosses that come through rips of reality to fight us and oppress the humans of Galia. Give us giant Zebian bosses that send hordes of monsters out on paths to assault cities if you so choose. I mean, there's so many different things they could do, but we have goats and we have placeholder bosses. I mean, come on, guys. It's just sad. This makes me sad to read. I want so much for this game. So many people want so much for this game. But it's not high on their priority list to give you one of the things that I think is going to have the biggest impact on people's enjoyment in this world. We already build our cities. We already rally our clanmates to run dungeons that have no bosses in them. Give us the fiend who's down in the Zebian strongholds, living deep underground, feasting on the flesh of humans. And we have to get a raid party together to go down there to assault him, and he's sending waves running up the stairs that can assault you from different angles. And he has all these crazy mechanics where when you're fighting him, he's throwing food at you or something, and it's human body parts, and it's just a visceral fight for life, for survival. Give us a dragon that flies overhead and oppresses the very skies that we call the heavens of Gallia. And you see it being oppressed by giant dragons that we can hunt down, find, and remove from the world. Give us events that change the world around us. There's so much that I want to see added into PAX Day. There's so many adventures left to be had in Gallia. Mainframe, please don't put bosses on the back burner. We don't give two shits. Pardon my French, guys, but we don't give two shits about the PvP right now. We want big bosses to fight. We want PvE adventures to go on with our friends. We don't want to have to spend hundreds of hours crafting gear and leveling our professions just to be able to make that gear, throwing thousands of things into the river just to go to PvP to die, to lose it all for the chance to get the most powerful items in the game. I don't think anyone's really asking for that. I'm not saying you can't do that. Obviously, you can do whatever you want, but this statement really hurts. This statement is a dagger in the gut of so many people. We're slowly working towards adding more enemies and enemy types. Making big enemies is hard, and us being a small team means that this is yet another place of the game where we need to balance against all other work. Under current plans, there will be some new enemies coming to the game, but no big bosses in the near future. That hurts. Sorry if that offends people. I'm not really sorry. Listen, this is the truth. I'm sorry that this hurts some people, that statement hurts. But this goes deep. Will loot quality/value improve, especially rare/named items? Named enemies already drop relics. The named enemies are just big meat shields that hit you harder. They're not bosses. Give us a reason to go down and fight these fiends to get real relics. The most valuable items in the game, but we are working on balancing loot further. Stags are too rare, and antler drops aren't guaranteed. The next content update will make stags antlers guaranteed with slightly increased spawn rates. There you go. You're gonna be able to get some more stags, guys. Be able to get those antlers so you can make more antler chandeliers in your house. Blimpy says, definitely don't forget to hit the like. I don't know, guys. That last one hurts, dude. The no world bosses, no dungeon bosses, no more enemy varieties. That hurts. Other content. What do we have here? Can we get a miracle to teleport to our main plot? Some more teleporting. You guys know how I feel about teleporting and fast travel in games. I feel like it removes you from the world. I understand that it's necessary to some degree. Fadrill, thank you for the 3rd out of 5th super chat towards our super chat goal. He says, more stags for the Stag and Willow Inn. Fadrill, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in with your honest opinions. I love hearing your guys' honest opinions, and I hope you enjoy hearing mine as well. Because again, I may not always be sunshine and rainbows and butterflies, but we keep it real here, as Pigro likes to put it. I think that a miracle to teleport to your main plot would be cool. I don't really have a problem with that. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of fast travel. I think it's fun to be able to travel around the world. Let's put it this way. If I had the choice of teleporting down to a dungeon, running the dungeon, teleporting home to my main plot, or having a mount so I could run from my house, having adventures along the way. Nice and sloppy. Get those sloppy joes. Isn't that an Adam Sandler movie? That was great. Thank you for Jill for the Tangia. If I had to choose between teleporting and doing that stuff, or between hopping on my horse, mounting up with the Order of the Blood Brothers and our allies and friends and heading out to strike into the heart of darkness, wherever it may be, running to the dungeon, dismounting, putting our horses up on poles or something like that, or even just zipping them into our pocket, whatever it may be. And then running the dungeon, coming out with all of our loot and traveling home with it, victoriously looking over all of the beautiful lands of the world, but at a faster pace because now we have horse that we can ride. I would much rather take the latter. I'd rather hop on a horse and head out there to go run a dungeon. I don't want to just have a cheap teleportation system. Watson says, I don't think people are going to like what they have intentions for mounts. Yeah, I heard something about like just them being used for transportation or something. Cat Died says, would much rather travel by horse than teleportation. Horse travel equals something fun, get to see the world, find new builds, meet new people. Exactly. Teleportation, Cat Died goes on to say, equals instant gratification. Seems like a workaround from something that was a priority implementation. Put on the back burner when teleportation and grace was implemented. I posted this morning in response to Spire at Mainframe, and for no response, he ignored my response and had plenty of time to respond to other people. Yeah, I mean, you're not beholden to his time, so I mean, we can't demand answers from them or anything like that, obviously. So it's fine if they don't want to answer some of the hard questions, but I'm not going to sit by idly and not point out the fact that a lot of the hard questions aren't getting answered. Watson says, oh, wait for it when you hit the mount question. Yeah, I think it's down below. It's coming up, ain't it? But those are my thoughts on Grace. I don't have a problem with Grace for teleportation and stuff. I would like to have the option to mount up to go have some fun. Brian says they will add a horse that will only teleport you to certain locations. Oh gosh. Can Grace be used to move everything in a plot to the redeeming queue? Interesting suggestion, no promises, but we'll consider it. I don't really see that being a high priority. I think just fix the whole storage issue and that won't really be a problem. Oh, here we are. This is another big one, guys. Is this going to hurt? Is this going to hurt when I read this? I'm still reeling from the whole we're not getting world bosses anytime soon. Is this going to hurt? Watson says, now I will have pitchforks and torches already. Well, there's no torches. They took those out of the game. Did I not finish the last one? What did I miss? We have plans for this, but aren't ready to... Oh, I missed one. You're right. Teleporting to the main plot. I went on my tangent. I forgot to read this here. So they have plans for it, but hashtag soon TM. Some details related are coming soon. Yep, hashtag soon TM. Pop it up. They're working on something for you so that you can teleport back to your home, guys. You're going to be able to have more teleportation. And then we talked about the redeeming queue there. Good catch. Good catch. Meta says just pull the band-aid off. It's half off. Oh no, is this going to be bad? Get the ointment, Red says. Oh man. I'm not looking forward to this one. You guys are scaring me here. When will horses be added? The current design thinking is that horses will be more about increased carry capacity than travel speed. Donkeys? Beasts of burden. The game has pretty decent travel speed already with the Petroday network. Oh no. Oh no. They're really leaning into the teleportation network. The whole zip cheap teleporting around. And as such, we have two reasons why horses won't appear in the game very soon. The first one is that there are a few key gameplay elements we want to add to the game that affect trade, which would be hard to balance if we add the horses first. Wait a second. Are they talking about their iteration of the horses being used for carry capacity? Or, you know, because that would affect trade if they add wagons or something like that? Or are they talking about they're trying to implement something to the market that you being able to get around faster would affect? The second is that horses are a very big feature, I guess, and we think there's other gameplay that's more pressing right now. Absolute gut punch, guys. Absolute gut punch. No world bosses, no dungeon bosses, no real new enemies. Well, maybe some, they said new enemies, hashtag soon TM. but no world bosses or anything like that anytime soon. And horse are not going to be used for travel. Carry capacity is what they're going to be used for. That's rough. That is absolutely rough. I don't even know what to really say about that, guys. They've been teasing, showing us horses, hearing galloping on the main starting of the game from its conception. They showed us pictures of horses. They've been talking about maybe even having horses, #soon, dangling that carrot in front of us for how many months now? How many months? And now we see that all of that was for naught. It's been reprioritized, and mounts are not at the top of their list for travel, if at all anymore. Black Pickle, thank you for the 4th out of 5th super chat towards our super chat goal. Pickle says, got a nice long message here, says, let's fix the fail rate when you're crafting. When your craft is very easy and you've used a miracle and still fail. Yes, that did just happen recently. And don't forget, it's 10.860 steel ingots, or 10,860 steel ingots to level from 36 to 37 weaponsmithing, and that doesn't include subparts. Crafting is abysmal. That is a big, big problem. After there's a full wipe, oh my gosh, Ange, thank you for helping us reach our goal. I appreciate it. She says, goal. Yeah, the crafting is not in a great state when you have to use so many materials. There's no reason why, there's no wonder why so many people are concerned about the ability to be able to recycle, so to speak. Salty Veteran, great to have you here, buddy. Thanks for stopping in, man. Great to see you. Thank you for the Tangia. You guys are great today, man. This is a great Tangia, by the way. It's a long one, but it's worth it. Salty says, I want the developers patched. I want the developers patched, please. They seem broken. Oh my gosh. What a great Tangia. For drill. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. There's a lot of chat going by. Sad says, yikes, just another nail in the coffin. Meta says, horseless knights, oh joy. We are going to be the poor knights. Fadril says, it seems that the overall scope of the game doesn't match the size of the dev team. If that's true, then why don't they reach out to producers for assistance or get the help needed? That's actually a good point, Fadril. I like that. I like that point. Reach out to the producers, use your money maybe a little wiser, and maybe expand your team as opposed to shrink it. Maybe that's what they were doing. Maybe they were cutting the fat and now they're looking on getting more people. I don't know, but we literally have no idea. But I like that. That's a great way of putting it. Pigro says it's a medieval sim. Sad says, I'm ready to sign up for the class action. Someone needs to start it. Oof. That's rough. Watson says, my thoughts are that the devs are tone deaf to what the players actually want. A lot of people have been saying that. And I'm just being honest. A lot of people have been saying that. A lot of people I've been reaching out to and chatting with have been saying that they just feel like the devs are really not listening at all to feedback, but they keep gaslighting and telling us that they are listening. I would love to get now listen, this is probably never going to happen because I speak the truth, but I would love to sit down with the devs and literally have a good faith conversation of us talking about some of these things in more depth than just a couple sentences here in a quote Q&A. I would love to sit down with them and have an actual unscripted chat about some of these things with you all so we can have some actual transparency. I would love for that because I'd love to pick their brains about some of these things and go a little deeper than just accepting a couple sentences here. Like, let's try and understand why the priority shift here. What is actually in the works? What are you guys actually working on that makes it to where you think that horse can't be added in? I'd love to actually pick their brains and know that. Cat Died says that won't happen because you've seen my getting paid by them. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm not getting paid by them. I don't get paid by anyone besides you guys, my fans, my channel members. Red says, yo, Ostrich, I know you're in here take Void up on this. I mean, the devs probably can't on their own free will. They're probably getting the go-ahead from the higher ups. They probably don't have the ability to do that on their own. But thank you guys for all the super chats. Really great points made there. Great to see you, Salty. I appreciate you guys. You guys absolutely smashed my super chat goal this stream, and I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Let's see a couple more messages here. Cat Died says, hate typing on the phone. That won't happen because you aren't being paid by them. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the main reason. You know, especially with all the bad publicity going on right now. But I think it would be good. Listen, I think it would be good because it would show good faith. If they actually sit down and just say, hey, listen, we don't really have the answers for this, that's so much better than just putting out a couple sentences that just obfuscate the reality that's going on here. Meta says, and let's not forget that they have some sort of horse made. They shared screenshots with us. Yeah, I know. That's what I was talking about. They've been dangling that carrot for so long now just for it to be yanked away. So let me reread this so we're all on the same page. When will horses be added? The current design thinking is that the horses will become more about increasing carry capacity than travel speed. The game has pretty decent travel speed already with the Petra Day network. Again, we've talked about that already. And as such, we have two reasons. These are their two reasons why horses won't appear in the game very soon. The first one is that there are a few key gameplay elements we want to add to the game that affect trade, which would be hard to balance if we add the horses first. The second is that the horses are a very big feature, and we think there's other gameplay that's more pressing right now. I would love to hear what they think is more pressing than bosses and horses. I would love to see that insight. Here's another good one. When will weather effects arrive? Now, we've seen that weather has been on the roadmap for at least a couple of the roadmaps, and then it got removed. Weather got bumped. It's understandable. Things will get bumped. I mean, obviously, we'd like to know, hey, do you have a reason why it got bumped? Here, they're going to talk about that a little bit. They say, we just released a major atmospheric update. We've seen the clouds. We know. We got new clouds. Weather concepts exist, but we want weather to impact gameplay, not just visual. So this will take time. Throw another hashtag soon TM up on the board. Hashtag soon TM, we will have weather that will potentially impact gameplay, not just be visual. I think a lot of us would be happy with it being visual first, and then seeing it being able to affect gameplay. It doesn't need to be perfect when you first release it. This is early access, right? Let us test it. Let us find the visual bugs so your visual team can fix those visual bugs while it gets implemented further and ingrained into the systems that will actually impact gameplay. That sounds really cool, though. I want to give credit where credit's due. I love when weather actually does impact gameplay and it's not just visual. I'm really looking forward to that whenever it does hashtag soon TM come out. I think that's going to be really cool. Martin, welcome into the stream. Martin says they need to make fighting even the level 1 mobs fun. Sorry, they need to make it really, really fun. I agree. Yeah, a lot of people would agree with that 100%. Martin, great to have you on the stream, buddy. Cat Died says, I mean, the audacity to tell people one of the reasons they bought the game based off the trailer is no longer relevant. I agree. Yeah. I mean, these are some really big gut punches here, guys. Some really big gut punches. Mad Dance, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Mad Dance says, I'm curious who Mainframe is making the game for. They seem to be disappointing all of their players at the moment. I agree. Fodrill says, I would like Mainframe to get a new dev team producer who can steer PAX where it needs to go and incorporate the tools us to actually use and testing. I agree, Fadril, again with that statement as well. That's a really great point. You know, it seems like these are just kind of spur of the moment. Hey, put something together to calm the masses, you know. There's pitchforks outside the doors. Salty, thank you for being a junior sleuth for 11 months, brother. He says, I'm half convinced they're just testing how far they can push us before we collectively move to another game, LOL for science. I mean, it's kind of already happened, right? A lot of people have gone to Dune. A lot of people have gone to Ashes. A lot of people are still playing V-Rising. A lot of people have moved on to other stuff because there's competition. And that's so sad to see because PAX Day has a lot of potential. So much potential. But Salty, thank you so much, man, for being a member for 11 months. It's because of you guys why I'm able to be here. I'm independent for a reason, and that's to be here for the people, telling the truth. Competition can be good. Competition is always great, in my opinion, Moon. 100%. Competition is great. It's great in the economy because it makes you either make a better product or have a better price. It's either going to bring down prices or bring up quality, right? You're going to have that push and pull of everyone always advancing. Look at Intel. For the longest time, they had no reason to be producing better CPUs because AMD just had nothing to compete with it. Then Ryzen came out. Now we got some competition. You're seeing real advancements on hardware. Competition is great, and it's why monopolies are no good. Watson says, my character for PAX Day, not live not live in ashes. May the light bless you. Or now lives in ashes, I think you're saying. Now lives in ashes. Fedril says, I'm glad my $100 helped supply donuts for the dev team meetings. Martin says, if you ever played Halo, it was the same game loop over and over, but the combat was fun. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Games can have repetitiveness while still being fun, right? Absolutely, I agree. Okay, let's see what the next thing on the list here is. Oh, okay, it's a good one. I've heard this from a lot of people in tons and tons of places. Can we get RP outfits? Listen, we had RP outfits. They took them away. They took away all of our RP outfits. So we had them, and like a lot of other features, it's been ripped away from us. Where's our one-handed axes? Where's any of the other number of features that were once in and then were removed? So we had RP outfits. They say, yes, the next content update will include some RP clothing. Hashtag SoonTM, getting that RP clothing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why this ever left in the first place. We already had it. I guess we'll see. I'm really excited to have that, though. That's great to hear. We're going to be getting our RP clothing added back into the game. Hashtag SoonTM. Moon says, I think the donuts took over 100 euros. News on dye/customization of gear. Still planned, but like with other gameplay features, it's been reprioritized. No ETA yet. Hashtag SoonTM. They want to complete other gameplay priorities first. This is in the running. This is competing with other gameplay priorities, guys. Hashtag SoonTM. We'll have potentially have some dyes. They've been talking about that for a really long time. Is it just me, or a lot of these things very, very long running things that people have been talking about? Why did you remove torches and lanterns? Here's a good one. Let's see what they have to say about this, because this was another thing that they removed. We're definitely bringing this back at some point. Hashtag SoonTM. There were some hard to solve technical issues. So is this just another thing where this was too difficult with the lights we had? So no ETA on when these will make a comeback, but they will. So hashtag SoonTM, guys. We'll get our lanterns back and torches back. What about tabletop items, plates, knives, forks, etc.? Literally, I don't think anyone really has talked about this. I mean, we have said it'd be nice to have clutter, but I don't think that that's really high on anyone's priority list when we need like world bosses and horses and stuff like that. But hashtag SoonTM, guys. They say incoming. Pretty soon, you'll be able to place plates, knives, and forks in PAX Day Revolutionary. And decoration items, chairs, tables, flower pots, taxidermy. Fadril. Oh my gosh. That was creepy, dude. That was so creepy. Moon says, haven't been too transparent with their actual priorities are in the list. Yeah, I know. And that's one of the biggest problems, right? That's one of my biggest criticisms. Meta says, they say they didn't have the time to recode the old armors. Oh, like the clothes and stuff. They didn't have time to recode it. That's interesting. That's why they took out our RP clothes, but now they had time, so it's getting added back in. Okay. Well, at least we're getting it added back, right? I'm happy about that. P-Grow says, I would give my left arm to find out what those other features are. They must be groundbreaking. I hope so. Watson says, all hashtag SoonTM for a fee of $5.99. Oh my gosh. You guys are off the rails today. This is crazy. So plates, knives, and forks, hashtag SoonTM, which we already added. Don't add another one. All decoration items, chairs, tables, flower pots, taxidermy, different walls, curtains, grounds. Hashtag soon TM incoming. More flowers. Another hashtag soon TM incoming. So add 2 more up on there. 18. That takes us to 20. We're at 20 hashtag soon TMs, guys. We're going to be getting more flowers, more flower pots, more tables, more chairs, more taxidermy, build walls, knives, plates, forks. You're going to be able to make an entire kitchen complete with dirty dishes. All coming hashtag soon TM. Let's see what else we got here. More small animals, squirrels, etc. This has been discussed very recently. It will happen at some point, but no ETA. Hashtag soon TM. We're at 21. We're going to get squirrels, but we're not going to get dragons or bosses or where's the tank? Where's the Zebium tank that they showed us? Where's the giant spider boss that we had in alpha? We're getting squirrels. I'm fired up, guys, because those big 2 things, the horse and what was the other one? The no bosses. That's rough, man. I'm fired up about this now. I am fired up about this. We're getting squirrels, though. Can we craft flags? Great idea. Added to the backlog. Another hashtag backlog right there. Flags would be great. Be able to represent your clan in the world. Julia says, I'm sorry, but PAX Day devs sucks hard. I mean, let's try and keep it good faith here. Let's not call names. Let's not be, overtly mean or anything like that. But low key, I think a lot of people are in that same boat, especially after their out of touch updates at one after another, Julia. Red says, yes, new flowers. I've been asking for this since the beginning. Forget the fishing, farming, etc. But flowers. German 3D Printing Nerd says hashtag soon TM number 22. Meta says, do you know what no one ever mentioned is 2x2 gates for the castle set? That would be really cool, actually. I'd love to see that. I would love to see that. That would be great. I mean, because building is the majority of what people do right now. What about small trees as decorations, not for chopping? We've reduced smaller trees because they distracted from gameplay and made chopping mechanics harder to understand. We may tune this further, but likely towards simplification rather than adding more. Thank you for the Tangia, guys. And thank you for all the Tangia Dungeons. You guys are on a roll today, man. Those things help out so much. I don't think they're really addressing the correct issue here. People are talking about decorations of small trees around their houses, not the wild ones that you actually chop down, and their answer was completely about something different. So I don't know if they really understood what was asked there. People want trees for decorations. We want trees to stop coming through our plots against our will, and we want to be able to place trees on our property where we want. That's what they're asking in the question, but they didn't really answer that. We still have quite a bit to go through here. Can you add more animations, etc., such as, or example as pointing? Yes, more will come at some point, no ETA, so hashtag soon TM will be able to point. You'll be able to point your finger soon. There's no ETA, we don't know when, but you will be able to point your finger in PAX Day. You can be a knight, you can be a horseless knight, and you can point your finger very soon. UI/UX improvements, so UI stuff here, user interface. Please increase zoom levels on the map, both in and out. Already passed this to the UI team, so hashtag soon TM will be able to zoom in and out more on the map. You'll be able to see more of the map and be able to zoom in closer, hopefully hashtag soon TM. What about /chat commands? Coming, but no ETA. Hashtag soon TM. Oh, the dungeon froze? Hold on, give me 1 second.
Soonim.
Soondim. Soon TM. That's so true. Give me 1 second. Is this the Tangia overlay? Let me refresh Tangia overlay. I think it borked the dungeon, but I did refresh the Tangia overlay.
Soonim.
Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully you still get the rewards. Hopefully it's not too borked. We're up to 24 hashtag soon TMs. Oh my gosh. Watson says, oh, does that mean the flower crowns? Do we still have those? Maybe one for your hashtag soon TM pack mule of a horse? Do we still have the flower crowns, or were those taken out? Where was I here? So you'll be able to zoom in and out, slash commands. We're at the bottom here. This is the bottom. Can we get more UI customization? Show, hide individual elements. We'd love to, but it will take time due to other priorities. I mean, that they're kind of saying that that's not coming, but they also say that it would take time. So I don't know. I'll leave that up to the admins. You guys decide if that's a hashtag soon TM or not. Can party members be shown on the compass? Great suggestion. Already passed it on to the UI team. Hashtag soon TM on that one. You'll be able to, hopefully they passed it on. They don't know if we're going to get it or not, but hopefully hashtag soon TM will have an answer if that can be a thing. I think that'd be really great, actually, being able to see your party members and stuff like that. Cause then you can see like team member 1 is that way. Team member 2 is that way. That'd be pretty good, I think. What else do we have? Camera tool. Can we make the player visible again when using it? Very low priority, but it's on the backlog. Another hashtag backlog. This is actually an important thing because we like to take screenshots together. And when you're not in that, imagine you took a group photo with your friends and you magically were vanished. Like you were removed from the photo and it was just a picture of your friends. You know, you don't need to ask a stranger to take a picture of you anymore because you can just take the picture because you're not going to be in the picture either way. It's kind of a problem. I don't know why that even became a problem, but I agree that it's probably not a very high priority. But with such a beautiful world, people love to show it off. Salty, thank you for the super chat. He says, I love hashtag SoonTM. It allows me to prepare to be disappointed in advance. Oh my gosh, dude. It's kind of true though. I need to hydrate really quick. Maven says, it was sad we lost that ability, been waiting on it for a couple verses now. I mean, understandably though, that's probably not high on the priority list. When things like world bosses and horses aren't high on the priority list, I can understand why something like being able to see yourself in your own screenshots is probably not high on the priority list. And if you guys are sensing a little extra frustration in this stream, I am frustrated. I'm frustrated for all of you. I'm frustrated for all of the diehard fans of PAX Day. I'm frustrated for myself. I'm frustrated for the gaming industry as a whole when these things are acceptable. When these are the directions that games go in. When we have things that are so important to games being just put on back burners. When we have things that were promised or shown off and advertised early on being removed from, I am frustrated. You're damn right I'm frustrated. You all deserve better. The community deserves better. We want more transparency. Mainframe, you need to be more transparent. Show us this backlog. Talk with us. Don't just give us these vague hashtag soon TMs. I'm sorry, but yes, I am very, very frustrated. Thank you for the Tangia. Looks like Tangia Dungeons are working again now. You're kicking the Tangia Dungeon. I love it. I am frustrated, guys, and you all seem to be as well. It's not just me. From the people that I've reached out to, I talk with so many people about PAX Day, right? People come to me all the time to chat about PAX Day. I get hate mail all the time. Lizard. Oh my gosh. I talk with so many people. People reach out to me all the time to talk about PAX Day. And it is so frustrating to hear the absolute state of demoralization that people are going through right now. And I think that is part of the reason why the main PAX Day official Discord has gotten so toxic. I think people are at their wits' end. People are really at their wits' end. They're trying to fanboy and defend the game so hard that you get attacked for saying even the slightest thing over on the official PAX Day Discord. It's why a lot of people don't really engage over there anymore. I'm frustrated for all of us. And I hope that you guys can appreciate that because I'm not frustrated out of a place of malice. I'm frustrated out of a place of wanting better for PAX Day, wanting better for the chain of communication. We want real unscripted interviews. We want actual answers to these things. Please, Mainframe, don't let PAX Day die and fall to the wayside because of bad prioritization and bad communication. You're losing so many diehard fans. So many people who want so badly for this game to succeed. You know how many people I've talked to? Oh, we got a Tangia. It's okay, Void. You are appreciated. Thank you for Drill. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you tuning into these live streams to talk about this stuff openly, in good faith. live with me. It means the world to me, guys. It really does. Being able to sit here and have the hard conversations when no one else is willing to, no one else has the audacity to have the real conversations like we do. Thank you guys for keeping it real. And I mean that. Without you, without the community around PAX Day, none of this even matters. You guys are what make all of this worth it. I'll take all that hate mail. People DM me all the time how I'm just, oh, Void, you're just so negative. You're just so negative all the time. It's not true that I'm just negative all the time, right? I'm here to talk the truth, guys. And I think that all of you appreciate that. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for supporting my work. Thank you for all the Tangias, for all the dungeons, for all of the super chats, and enabling me to be able to do this full time with you, to be able to run the private servers for the Cheeky Buggers United, and being able to run the community, to do the vetting process, and to be there for each and every single one of you. Whether it be your darkest time or your brightest shining moment, I love spending my time with you guys and this community. Bowl of onions. I love it. You guys are great. I really do appreciate you. But that brings us to the end of another great episode of PaxCast. We talked about all of the hashtag soon TMs, and the short Q&A of pressing questions comes to an end. Do you guys feel like you had your questions answered? Let Mainframe know down in the comments section. Let them know in the live chat. Let them know if you think that this was sufficient. Let them know what you want to see. Let them know what you want to see added into the game, or what you want to know about what's going on behind the scenes. Let them know all of it. John says, oh no, I have to start from the beginning. You're going to have a wild ride, John, when you go back to the beginning. Some of the stuff we talked about was some pretty hard things to talk about. It's going to look like it's negative, but you just hear me out and hear my thoughts out. Read the comments that people are typing. It's a rough one. It really is. We had two very big gut punches in there. We're getting beat up, guys, but we're still in the fight. The Order of the Blood Brothers is going nowhere. We will be here to be the shining beacon. Bloodhaven will continue to be the bastion for all forms of roleplay. Come and join the Fellowship of the Free Cities. Come and join the Order of the Blood Brothers. Head over to our Discord, ! Discord in chat. We have a huge RP initiative, the Fellowship of the Free Cities, both in PAX Day and beyond. It is a great place to meet other good faith actors and like-minded people who want to have fun role-playing. Come on over there, hang out. I'd love to have you guys. We hop in chat all the time. We play all kinds of games. If you're looking to get into Ashes of Creation or Star Citizen, I have referral codes for all of that. Please consider using those. They do help the channel out a lot, but I'm not here to sell you guys on anything, clearly. I'm here to have real conversations and show you if this is worth your hard-earned money. But I really, really, really appreciate you all being here today. Thank you so much. Huge shout out to all of my channel members. You guys are the absolute best. If you guys want to join the Cheeky Buggers United and become a verified member, you can put an application in on our website. Once you get in,
PAX devs.
do it. Once you guys get in and you get verified and vetted and all that, you get instant access to all of our private servers. We have a private Dune server we've been having a bunch of fun on. We have a V-Rising server, Minecraft servers. We have servers for all kinds of stuff. We have clans and guilds and orgs and groups in just about every MMO you can imagine out there, because we love doing stuff together. So thank you guys for tuning in to another PaxCast. Stay tuned for a podcast talking about the news and happenings around Ashes of Creation coming #SoonTM. What was our total count? What was our total #backlogs and #SoonTMs? What did we get up to, guys, before we end this out? Don't forget to like and subscribe, Watson says. It really does help, guys. Help us to reach our subscriber goal. We're actually past 1320. Let me see. Let me refresh it. I don't know. Sometimes it lags behind. Yeah, we're above 1320. We're well on our way up to 2,000, guys. Thank you for all that. We're up to 26. So we got 26 #SoonTMs in here. And some might argue there's even more than that, but that's the official count, and I'm sticking to it. John says 3 faints, 22 boos. Backlog got up to 7. Hell yeah, guys. Well, I really appreciate you all spending your afternoon here with me. I'm going to go get some food. Yo! Did you just fart on me? What do you just fart on the Q&A? For drill. Thank you guys for all the Tangias. I really appreciate it. But I'm gonna get some food, stretch my legs, and then I'm gonna get all the information together for the next podcast, which is going to be, I don't know what it's gonna be named yet, guys. I don't know what to name the Ashes of Creation podcast. We have PaxCast. We have Graveheart's Fables, which I haven't touched in a little while. Some creepy stories. We have a bunch of podcasts. What should we call our Ashes of Creation? Do we call it Ashcast? It kind of doesn't flow very well. I don't know. We'll think of something. Ashes Cast? Ashcast? But I'm going to be getting a bunch of information together about Ashes of Creation, and we're going to talk about all the stuff that's going to be coming on the 26th with the fresh wipe. Now is the time to get into Ashes of Creation. If you guys are thinking about it, use my referral code, type !ashes in chat now. It'll get you a link over to make your account, and then you can get the game if you want to, and you can hop in with us. Again, come on over to CBU, join us on all of our fun adventures. Ash what? Not Pax, hashtag not PaxCast. Ashes is $100 right now. You get access to the next year of alpha, which is what phase 3 is expected to last. And then all subsequent alphas and betas you will have access to free of subscriptions, no subscriptions at all. So you're at least getting 1 year, which is $180 value of testing and fun. It's going to have 24/7 uptime. Epic Fiddler, great to have you in the stream. Ash Agenda, Hard Ash Life, Ash Chat. It's got to flow. It's got to flow off the tongue. But let's continue this conversation over on Discord. I'd love to hear from you guys. Put all your suggestions in the Ashes of Creation room over there. Ash Brisket Talks. Ash Talk. There's so many different names we could go with. We got to find a good one, though. All right, guys. That's it for this one. I have been your host, as always, Voidlock. I hope you guys enjoyed this installation of PaxCast. But until I see you guys in the next one, bye for now.
Brisket on the grill, now fill our bellies deep. Juicy, smoky, savory, warriors never sleep. Glistening, crushed, shining bright, there's a flavor near. Slice through all the tough times, tenderness so dear. Oh, brisket, walk right, taste that makes us strong. Low and slow we cook it, hear us sing our song. Smoky, sensorizing, spices dancing there. Caramel crust inviting, brisket brings us there. Oh, brisket, walk right, taste that makes us strong. Low and slow we cook it, hear us sing our song. Our song. Smoky scents arising, spices dancing there. Caramel crust inviting, brisket brings us there. Oh, brisket, walk right, flavor in each bite. Symphony of seasons, makes our songs ignite. Our song. mouth-watering just right. Shoe that's so tender, brisket fuels our fight.